Good evening, everyone. My name is TJ, and today I'll be interviewing Becca or Booka, um, coach of the Denver Dewgongs from Wellspring League. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Um, you're one of the newer people in the server, and you've had a run, and you started with a tough loss in week one, but you've made it all the way to becoming champion of Wellspring League. So congrats to that, first of all. So, uh, so Becca, how long have you been doing competitive Pokemon?
Really big gap. I think I started like my freshman, sophomore year of college. What, so like 2021?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like 3 years ish, about. Wow.
Wow, it's in that one.
And so
Time
like,
flies.
yeah, it does. So what's been like your experience as far as like with draft league? Because I feel like competitive is, there's all types of formats, singles, doubles, and draft league format's a very different thing. So how long have you been doing draft league for?
Time, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, well, that's
I
good.
just jumped right into it.
Wow,
Yeah, my
that's.
boyfriend got me into it.
Oh, really? So is your boyfriend also a competitive Pokemon player?
He is.
And is your boyfriend also part of the server or no?
He's in this server, actually. We were in both of this together.
Oh, really? So what is your boyfriend's username if he's already in here?
Oh, it's Donor.
What is it?
Donor.
Oh. Oh, okay. I forgot
The
his name.
the week that we fought each other.
Oh my gosh.
Very tense in the house.
Oh gosh. Were there stakes on it? Like if like one person loses, the loser has to do dishes for a week or something like that?
And I won too. Dang it!
Oh man.
That would have been so smart. Yeah.
Yeah. See, well there's well I guess not there probably won't be next time since you're promoting, but well, you can keep that in mind if Donner makes a jump. Wow, that's kind of funny though. Um, so tell me why the Denver Dugongs?
Well, I love Dewgong like a lot. I just think it's cute. That's how I got into Pokemon. I just like the cute ones, really. And I just love Dewgong. And then I was like, well, I want the name to sound cool, so I wanted to start with a D.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I think it'd be cool to make it off of like a real team. I was thinking of the Denver. Oh my gosh, what was it? Rockies? Nuggets? Nuggets. Those are good.
It's all good. There's Colorado Rockies, Denver Nuggets. It's all good.
State. And then I was like, oh, Denver Dugongs looks cool.
And so,
And yeah,
Did you make your logo? It looks really cute, actually. Love it.
yeah,
Well
love the
done.
colors.
I do. I
They
really do like the green. Once we're like in the hat touch is a very nice touch. But yeah, it's a really cool logo. And thanks you for sharing that. Um, so draft league is, as I've told people time and time again, it's a very long enduring process. 8 weeks of regular season, and then possibly up to 3 more weeks of postseason. Um, so what do you think has been like what was either your favorite match that you had?
Ooh, I know this sounds cliche, but probably the final one, just
Oh,
because it was such like a ah moment, and
oh,
it's
okay.
just really intense and fun, and it was awesome.
Oh, okay. So we'll definitely jump into that. I don't want to jump into it just yet because it was like you said. I rewatched it just per hand, and like I knew that you won, but finally like getting to rewatch it, I have to say I would be I was at the edge of my seat, like seeing how it all went down. Shout out to your opponent Knox. We'll mention him again also during the interview. Okay, that's very fair. That's your favorite match. So, do you feel like Nox was also your toughest opponent in the league itself? Considering Nox gave you a loss and you had to overcome certain obstacles to win against Nox. Like, what?
Yes, because what we went against each other the first week, and
Yeah,
I lost.
yeah,
And I'm a sore loser, and so which I'm nice about, but at home I'm like ah, and so
yeah,
yeah, it was a little like, and I think even at the beginning of the match we were like, we meet again, and we start this, now we're ending this. It was funny. It was very nice. Iron Ground was a little Iron Crown was a
yeah.
little difficult, but
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't been able to watch those matches, Nox has been doing really well with the Sand team utilizing Iron Crown, and he's been running like a really interesting set with a weakness policy, and so because of its like certain bulkiness and so it runs like I think rock polish or agility along with weakness policy, and it works out really well. So for those of you who haven't used Iron Crown, be sure to try it that way. So before we talk about more matches, let's talk about your team, um, the players, the stars of the Denver Dewgongs. You've had a tell me about like your draft plan going into this.
my plan going into it.
Yeah.
Um, well, I don't like to use Pokemon that I don't like. I know that sounds weird. Even if they're good, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna use them.
That's totally
Um,
fine.
there's only really one that I was like, eh, but it
Okay.
was fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I just pick Pokemon I really like. I love Tapu Fini. I had a dog named Finley, so I always love Tapu Fini because it sounds like Finley.
Mhm.
Um, I think Chiyu's just fun. I think Chiyu's cool. I remember when I saw it in the game, I was like, oh, it's so cool. I'm a sucker for dogs, so Mega
Mhm.
Man Trick was like a necessity. I always have to have a dog on my team.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
oh, always will have a dog, at least one. Um, I love Beware. Beware is most likely probably one of my favorite Pokemon ever. So yeah. And then Aegislash is cool. I really just like how it changes forms.
Mhm.
Those are the big ones that I was like, I need you,
So were you
bro.
so when like were you planning to do all this like water grass core with Chiyu, Shaman Sky, and Tapu Fini, or it was just like you said Pokemon you like and they're like okay let's do it.
Well, do like the cores.
Mhm.
That's usually the core I go for just
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I know it the best, I feel like, and I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's usually how I start. I'm like, okay, let's look at the top tiers or like A tier or something like that.
Mhm.
Pick up water, grass, or fire, and then I
Yeah.
kind of start building from there.
I gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so so Bastiodon had is also something a Pokemon I haven't seen used too often, but you used it really well. In particular weeks. And then so I think I noticed that actually used a lot of your Pokemon well with for the most part like 3 or 4 games. Um, is there a particular reason why Garbodor didn't get to see much playing time, even like garbage time, as they call it?
Figure out the right way to fit in with the rest of the team, honestly. Like, would
Mm-hmm.
try it out and be like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
just could never get to work, honestly, for me. Maybe other people could, but I was like, what? So it
Yeah.
never worked. But yeah, Bastiodon was one where I'm like, I just need a Pokemon. I just need one more. I'll just pick that one.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't part of the plan. It was not at all. It just kind of happened.
Yeah,
I
because
just need
it doesn't fit in the cute vibes as much as the other Pokemon. That's why I was like surprised to see you have that Pokemon when talking
yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah.
Um, so what do you think was your biggest surprise as a Pokemon? Like I talked about Bastiodon's great performance that one week, but who do you think was like the Pokemon that surprised you the most of the ones you drafted?
Finny, if we're not saying Bastiodon, it doesn't die. It does really well. It looks cool. It's a good Pokemon.
Yeah, it is. saves from status. It's terrain weakness. It's got good
Mhm.
typing. It's a good Pokemon. And then, what do you think was the Pokemon that disappointed you the most on the other aspect of it?
Probably Garbodor.
Okay.
Um, for a while it took, I think, a little bit to get like a hydrogen off the ground. Mega Manectric I did struggle with a little bit. Actually, almost debated getting rid of Mega Manectric, which
Oh,
was my
really?
goal. I
Yeah.
know. So, but I didn't, and it's fine.
Yeah. I think Megmanectric's a lot better in draft league, but mostly in like leagues that allow hidden power ice. Because I feel like without that coverage, it's not going to be as good. But it is. It's the cool mon, like you said.
Mhm.
All right. Um. So let's see. We talked about your team, and we talked about like your favorite matches and your toughest match. Um. Trying to think. So now let's talk about your playoff run. So you had to face up against I think the beige the hold on, give me a second to like pull up the list. Your first matchup was against the Beijing Bronzongs, and I think it was a really one of those tight battles. I don't know how well you remember it, but I was watching it, and like at one point you were down, sorry, 6-4. Um, were these was the playoff match like getting pretty nervous for you, like seeing that. Like I don't know how
Oh
to,
yeah, I thought it was a goner. Honestly, I thought it was done.
yeah, especially because I think you were struggling to break through that like Whimsicott and like the
Oh yeah, Wits always
Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz.
underestimate um, so many Pokemon, and then we play against them, and I'm like, oh.
But you pulled off the win. And then second round of playoffs, you got to play up against the Atlanta Picapex, who um their name is was it F Sash Shad or whatever. Um, so there was what was your thoughts like on that match? I felt like it was, obviously the score is more in your favor. What were your thoughts like going into that match? Um, Seeing Clef Key and things like that. I'm gonna have the screen thing up for you just in case you're like you need to go through any parts of the thing. But
The team, I just when I looked at it and I was like, okay, I got a plan for these. Team is scary, honestly.
mm-hmm.
Like I was really scared of this team when I looked at like what Pokemon I had to go against it. Klefki, I always think is a really good Pokemon. I've used Klefki before, was awesome on my team. Um, yeah, it's just a really scary team.
So there was a turn actually I was very curious about when Zamazenta used Dig.
Yep.
What was it? What were your thoughts when that happened? When the Zamazenta like used Dig?
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It really threw me off. And then it just ended up just taking a huge hit to thing,
Yes.
Moon Blast. But
hmm
it was interesting. And then like by the end, by that point, Shaman Sky just had to just Dazzling Gleam its way out, and then you were free.
Yeah. Shaman Sky also like did super well this whole time. Like that was a nice pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used any like Shaman or Shaman Sky. And I was really pleasantly pleased.
Yeah, because as long as you're able to position yourself out of like ice weakness and remove rocks, then it can do pretty well with its moves typing, and of course the Serene Grace is nice too when you get that flinch.
That is awesome.
Um, let me just see if you made any trades at all. I guess so. You didn't make any trades at all for your team, which this happens at
No,
normal. I guess but you said you were about to, so that's
I
fine.
was honestly the main reason I didn't. I just
Mm-hmm.
got kind of busy and forgot.
Oh really?
I like it clearly was probably gonna happen, and then
Uh
I got
huh.
super busy,
Okay.
and it and
Okay.
it worked out.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out, right? Uh,
Yes.
okay. So now we're gonna talk about the final match. So I've said this in past interviews, but I feel like whenever you have to face someone twice, um, your game plan changes. You have to make adjustments, um, and it's usually harder for the person who won to win a second time because usually, like, their winning strategy is like has to be modified in some way. So for you, did you feel that what was your thoughts when you had to know that you had to face Nox again in the finals? Like you said, a full circle moment from like week one. Like,
Take down Iron Crown. That was like as soon
yeah.
as I can get that thing. As soon as I can get that thing down, the
Hmm.
best I can. And then I felt like Bastiodon could do like the rest with like body press and stuff, but like
Hmm.
it had to get Iron Crown out. That one was
Yeah.
scary.
So I'm trying to see. I have the replay up for both, and I'm just like comparing the teams. Made some changes, but let's see. As far as what you made, one of the things that you got rid of, I guess, was Chiyu, which I'm guessing had to do with the fact that tends to like just tank its hits. But was there any other reasons why you chose to change out Chiyu, um, and then bring in? I guess in this case it's Bastiodon, and then Azelf, something that hasn't really gotten much usage for you, um, in this game.
Zelf, I just never. Zelf was a hard one to use too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
um, but I'm sorry. What was the question? I got distracted by
it's
Zelf.
it's okay. So, like, what made you want to bring Azelf and Bastiodon to this match as compared to like last match? What was the changes going in?
You it just had too many weaknesses for me to be comfortable to bring him, honestly. It was like I know he's one of my like better Pokemon, but it was like too much of a risk for
Mm-hmm.
me. Um and I had already gotten so much rhythm with Bastiodon
Mm-hmm.
later in the season.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, let's see where this goes. Like, why not? Um
Yeah, I agree. Like Terra definitely benefits Pokemon like Bastiodon because of the fact that it removes its 4 times weakness to ground, which against this team, is very vulnerable. A sound team in particular. Um, so, um, and the thing was interesting about like Azelf. So I'm watching the replay right now. I don't know if you're like watching my stream at all, but you use like a more physical version. Um,
yeah, it gets knockoff.
yeah, and then
And that was really, really helpful.
so were you expecting that that he was gonna predict the switch, and that's why he went for like the Thunderbolt instead of the Shadow Ball type deal here.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sorry. So in the previous turn, like Azelf's up against Golden Go, and then you're at like partial health. So
Yeah.
instead of going for the thing, you go for the knockoff, goes for the substitute. Um, were you thinking about switching out at all, or you're just like, you know what, just break through?
No, I was like, we'll just let this run. We'll just see what happens.
Hmm. And so
Uh,
the next, yeah, and then the next turn we have Mistelstein up against that dreaded thing. So and then it goes to the agility weakness policy set. So how and then gets a KO. So now that you said before, Bastiodon's up against thing. Were you not worried at all because you felt like it has enough HP to like just get knocked out at this point?
yeah, Seodon got this. Like, I don't think he was gonna die.
Yeah,
He has
it
some
tanked that
pretty good things.
it tanked that thing really well.
And I had sturdy as the ability,
Yeah,
so that helped
that's
it.
true. So why braces for Bastiodon, by the way?
It just looks like it has braces.
Okay,
It's a dumb reason, but it's kind of true.
that's fine.
Like, it just reminds me of braces.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious. Like I love nicknames. I like to hear about them sometimes. So, but there was one that just caught me off guard a little bit. It's like braces. So Oberon after the
I
Fairy King.
there's a few times where enter the battle, and I was like, I forgot to nickname my
I
Pokemon.
did see that. I was gonna comment. I was like, you know what? I'm sure she'll nickname again later. Um, so
Usually do. There were just times where I'm like, I forgot.
and so here's the moment where it's like it gets really scary. You have braces up against Lakitu the Landorus, and it goes off a rock polish, and you go for the metal burst, um, which I believe is the move where it like returns the attack backwards, right? Like it attacks and then it returns the back. It turns it back, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it failed. How nervous were you for that? Knowing that it already has a plus speed bonus.
Oh, I was like shit my pants. I'm like, like, oh, I kind of thought it was a counter at that point.
Yeah, and so after that, so this is sheer force, I believe that's the thing that it gets as one of its abilities, and it goes off a sludge wave. You get the toxic on it, which is good. I can only imagine what it would have been like if it missed, but it landed. So then at this point, 4-4-0. Sorry, 4-4 is the score right now, and it's up again, and it's got the speed advantage probably against Shaman. So it's gonna happen to sludge wave again. Um, and Hydreigon goes to superpower, critical hit. How demoralizing was that? Knowing that like not even like just a knockout with a superpower, but like a critical hit as well. Were you getting extremely worried at that point?
Oh, I was so worried. Like, I literally was here, like, okay, match is over.
And
We're
then
done.
and then
Like,
and
it's done. I've lost.
and then Lakitu and then the Landers didn't even let up. And you had another critical hit sludge wave as if it couldn't get any worse, right? Against Tribal Chief. Oh my
It's
god.
horrible.
Can I ask what's the nickname reason behind Tribal Chief? I'm just curious if it's anything that I'm close to think what I'm thinking of at all.
But Roman Reigns
Oh,
in
okay, that's what I thought.
WWE.
Yeah, okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I've watched WrestleMania like a couple weeks ago. I've been like catching up, and I was like, I acknowledge you. All right, cool, love it, love it. All right, and so here's the moment of truth. Cuddlebug is up against the world. It's very scary, extremely scary. What's fortunate is that at this point, it's not the Landorus T that would cause an Intimidate drop, but it's at full attack, and it's a very tanky Pokemon. Um,
Mhm.
so get the superpower, lives. Um, I guess in in hindsight, like you didn't necessarily expect that the drop in the superpower would have like helped that much, but either way, it's still a loss. Um,
Yeah.
so, so now you get a nice drain punch. Um, and at this point, it's you're probably going to you're probably not gonna speed this, but it depends on how this is EV'd. So, goes to the S punch, and you get the drain punch. So now you're at full health up against Excadrill. Now, usually like the ground earthquake is probably like the move. Were you worried at all about the potential flinch chance in this last turn?
Weird amount of matches this season that had like weird flinch
Mm-hmm.
moments where like I won or lost due to a flinch.
Yeah.
So I just at the end of this whole season, I'm like, I will never put a flinch in the back of my head. It's always a possibility.
And then it lived. That drain punch. It's on a sash, but it's still not enough. Oh my god. And then you close it out. It was unreal.
It was a very intense match. But it was really rewarding, like to kind of win like that.
Oh yeah. It's a great story. Like watching this unfold. I can only imagine what it was like for your team and everyone. What was the atmosphere like for everyone in the locker room after this huge win? How'd you guys celebrate?
My boyfriend was like watching me do it, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "I didn't. We didn't like." It was great. It was an awesome moment. Because I really didn't think it was gonna happen.
Yeah, well, you won it in stylish fashion. Um, with your last Pokemon. What was I gonna say? So is this your first like draft league title? Like I know like he's here first one, but have you won a previous draft league titles in other places?
Yeah, I actually won my first one ever.
Oh really? Wow.
I did. It was a Little Cup League, which I love Little Cup so much because that's where all the cute ones are. And I actually won that one too. So I
Wow.
won my first one ever, and then I did a few. I think I've made playoffs almost every time, if not every time. Then took a break, and
Yeah.
then this is actually one of the first ones I did after coming back from my little break, and then I won again.
Wow. So you win
I
your
know.
that's amazing. It's because
I
um
yeah.
I've played in a few other servers and I feel like the level of competition in the server is pretty high. So for being someone newer to the server, jumping in, winning, kudos to you. Um, look forward to seeing how you do as you progress up in the future leagues, whatever it might be called. Are you in any of the leagues right now, or are you taking a break?
I've been looking for a little cup, but I can't.
Oh,
I know, but I am definitely coming back to this one. I don't know. I'm moving soon, so I'm kind
oh,
of
yeah,
it's the end of the school year, and that makes
gotcha.
it hard. So I
Okay,
think I'll maybe best wait.
yeah,
Wait.
that's fine. Well, if you're interested in following a little cup league, feel free to message me. I'm currently commissioner as part of one in another server. That's a small little thing, but yeah.
Ooh.
Um, but yeah, I'll message you that later. So before we close out, is there anything you want to say to your fans, or anything you want to share for anyone who doesn't know anything about you?
I don't think anyone really knows anything about me. Um, Thank you, everyone, for being so kind and accepting and super fun to participate with. I'm a teacher, that's a very tough job, so coming home and just getting to do something fun like this means a lot. So it was really fun to do this and kind of rewarding to win it too. I'm really happy. I'm proud of myself.
And you should be proud of yourself. I'm glad you're having a lot of fun in this community. I love it, which is why I do these types of things because Pokemon is one of those games I feel where like it's not always about competitive. People can talk about Pokemon themselves and like bond over things that we used to play when we were younger. So I hope you continue to be part of this community, be active, and then more people continue to try Draft League. Um, so since you are champion, I figured I'd ask this as like one of my last questions. Do you have any like advice or like insight you want to share to people who are intimidated by Draft League or even maybe demoralized from like their last season at all?
Oh, yeah, because it's kind of scary to get into it. When I first went into it, I felt like I was like terrible. Um, Honestly, what I do, and it's worked out for me, is just like all the Pokemon on your team. It makes it more fun to use. I one time did like a league where I didn't really like a lot of the Pokemon, like they just weren't fun to me, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do well. So just like pick ones you like. If you lose, darn. But you got to enjoy it and use Pokemon that you like, and don't just pick a Pokemon because it's like the best Pokemon out there.
I I agree. That's why I will never pick Landorus T. As long as I play Draft League, I hope to never. I broke my thing with Rotom Wash because I hated that Pokemon in Gen 6, but Landorus T, I will never draft it in my life. God help
Yeah,
me.
oh, it's just off.
Yeah. Well, I think that's solid advice as far as enjoying the game. It's like you said, something that helps make it easier and something that you value your team more when they're Pokemon that you enjoy. So great advice. Um, yeah. And unless you have anything else to share, but thank you for your time, Becca. and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too. And I look forward to your DMs about that.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for anyone who gets to tune into the video later, and catch you next time with an interview with our Premier League champion tomorrow, and then another one of our finalists from Victory League.